So this is a follow-up to my withdrawal video where I was explaining how Zyprexa is ruining my life, which it was. It actually almost took my life because it was so bad. I didn't see a way out. So essentially, I'm taking Lamictal and Zyprexa, and I was trying to quit those drugs, and the withdrawals were absolutely brutal. I had 3 of them. 2 of them were cold turkey attempts because 1 wasn't enough. They lasted around 2 months each. And then the last one was from a very rapid taper from listening to a psychiatrist, which was a huge mistake. And that one was by far the most brutal. And it lasted, I think, around 3 months. And that's when I thought that I wouldn't find my way out of this. But thankfully I did. I am damaged. I can't breathe properly still. And I do have some other damages post-withdrawal, even though it's been almost 2 years now, but these things take a very long time to resolve themselves, if they ever resolve themselves. So yeah, my way out was just tapering properly, and I learned how to taper from the site Surviving Antidepressants, which I highly recommend if you are dealing with this problem. Definitely check out that site because it has a lot of resources. It has very good information that is very useful. It has a lot of things about what kind of withdrawal symptoms are normal, and there is a huge list of them as people go through all kinds of shit. And actually seeing that list made me feel lucky because mine wasn't mild at all, but I'm thankful I didn't have a lot of the issues that were listed there. So basically you're gonna need a notebook, so you're gonna need something to write in. And what I do is, I mean, it's probably gonna be a flipped image, but basically this is the OG dose. This is the weight of the pill. And there's a lot of them because one pill can have variations in weight. And most people just take the average, but I was so scared that I just decided to write down every variation. So, for example, on Zyprexa, they are from 0.163 to 0.170. And I weighed them down on a scale like this. This is a jewelry scale. It's got a 0.000 accuracy, and you need that kind if you're going to taper. And also it's super fragile, so if you buy such thing, be very careful with it. Like, don't drop it. And you're gonna need a pill cutter. So at first you're gonna just, I mean, depending on what dose you're on, but for example, you need half a pill, you're gonna split it. And I split my pills in 4, so I split 1 pill in 4 because my doses are very low now. Also, I don't know where you're gonna get this kind of thing from. My dad made this for me. Basically, I don't know how you're gonna file your pills if you are about to taper. I filed them with this. At first, I was filing them down with a nail file. Then I started filing them on a machine like that's bigger, which I don't know what it's called in English, but that was a bit risky, like for the fingers. So my dad made me this. But yeah, whichever way you can find to file them down. And I know it's tedious and I know it's really annoying, but if you have no other way, just file them down with a nail file. And also splitting them, again, depending on your dose. If it allows splitting them is going to help you with the filing, because you're gonna have to file a lot less. So the rate of the taper, first of all, it's a hyperbolic taper, so the lower your dose gets, the lower the reduction gets. And you make the reductions off of your last dose, and no more than 10% a month. So basically you reduce 10% a month, and then the next month another 10%. And I would say that this is even fast. Like for me this proved to be fast, because I was having withdrawal symptoms and I wanted a taper with minimal to no withdrawal symptoms. So what I did was, I was still reducing 10% a month, but I was splitting those 10% in 2.5% a week for 4 weeks, and then holding it for 2 weeks. So I would reduce 2.5% every week for 4 weeks, and then 2 weeks I would not touch the dose, and then I would repeat. And I think that was the brass monkey method. I found it on Surviving Antidepressants. I think that's what the guy's nickname was. Brain freeze. Yeah, so, and like I mentioned, you can just take the average of your pill. Like, for example, you have Zyprexa, take a few pills and measure them and see, how much you're getting, and then take the average of that. And I also noticed that, take the average of that, but you can also do like me and basically write down every dose you see and then the reduction to that dose. And I am doing it like that. Like you can see many months later, I'm still doing it like that. Like all of those are the different weights of the pill and then the reductions to that particular dose. And now I forgot what I was about to say. Brain fog, I guess, is another thing that is a result of those withdrawals. I mean, I've struggled with brain fog for most of my life, but it got really bad. I have ADHD, I have derealization, depersonalization, which I am going to make a video on that because I am making a breakthrough there. And yes, that's how I taper. And something very important, when you get to the very low doses, like the dose I'm on now is less than a quarter. Like it's literally tiny. So when you get to a dose like that, you have to slow down the taper. I didn't listen. I didn't slow down, and I started getting panic attacks. Basically, I started withdrawal symptoms again, and it's really important to avoid this. Make sure that when you get to such a small dose, you slow down. You, for example, don't reduce every month. Maybe reduce every 2 months. Or reduce a month and then the next month you're not gonna reduce, see how you feel, and then reduce again. Basically, you have to be very cautious at the end there, because it's really tricky, because apparently from all I read, basically the smaller dose has a lot of effect on your neurotransmitters. Like that tiny dose is actually what's holding most of them. The bigger dose is not that influential. That's why bigger doses are way easier to reduce than the small doses. And again, the other important thing that I think I already mentioned is that it's hyperbolic. So you calculate the reduction based on your last reduction. So if you're thinking, but this is gonna take years, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it can take from 2 years to 4 years, depending on how it's going, depending on how many breaks you take between tapering, but that shouldn't matter really, because withdrawal is horrible. It leaves lasting damage. It can be protracted withdrawal, which can last for years, and it's really important to just not go there. So don't risk it with a quicker taper. For some people it works, some people are lucky, I guess, until they're not. They're lucky on their first psychiatric medication, then maybe they quit another one with no problem, and then the third one is not the same story. So yeah, better safe than sorry. Better to taper for 2 to 4 years than have withdrawal for 2 to 4 years or more. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, also, I noticed that a lot of people find it very hard to calculate a 10% reduction, which is crazy to me. But essentially, just take your dose, weigh down your pill, take the dose, and then type the dose on your calculator minus 10%, and then you're gonna get your new dose. And if it ends in 8, so I don't know what it's called in English, basically circle it, make the, oh my god, okay, so basically if the dose you're getting is 0.167.8, that 8 is gonna add to the 7, and it's gonna be 168, right? So yeah, and always write them down. You have to write down your current dose so that you know what your next one is gonna be. And yeah, I am feeling much better. Like I said, I did a little bit of a mistake with the low doses. I should have slowed down the taper. That's part of why my breathing is so bad. But I think things will resolve, and right now I'm holding down. I think for a few months I'm not gonna touch the pills. But yeah, what a journey. I can't wait for the day that I'm gonna get rid of this thing and it's gonna be behind me. And unless the situation is super, super dire, I am never, ever touching a psychiatric drug again, ever. Because I can imagine that my system is super sensitized, and even if, say, 5 years pass, the scars that are left from it are still gonna be there. And if I start another psychiatric drug, it's gonna be a mess again, maybe even a bigger mess. So what you can take out of this is, if psychiatrists have failed you, if you know the horror of withdrawal, if if this whole situation is familiar to you and you are in that situation right now, know that there is a way out. It's just a very slow one that requires a lot of patience. And if you have withdrawal symptoms, they will pass. Again, it might take some time, quite a bit of time maybe, but they will pass, and you will feel better. I mean, I was about to end my life, and now I'm here, not perfect, but definitely alive, and not trembling from anxiety 24/7, and not having 5 panic attacks a day. And yeah, I'm very, very thankful that I found a way out, and I'm very thankful to all the people that talk about this issue and give advice, because if it wasn't for the internet, I wouldn't have found the proper way to do things. And that's why I'm also making this video, is because I want to help, and I hope that I do. So yeah, check out the site and know that everything is going to be okay.